Hi, welcome. Simon here and hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to do a screen replacement on a MacBook Pro 13-inch M1, and this is the year late 2020. The model of this is A2338. If you're not sure where to look for the model, if you turn to the back of your laptop, here you can see that the model says A2338, and again, this is the M1 version, MacBook Pro M1 late 2020. All right, I'll be using a Pentalope P5 screwdriver here. First, we need to remove the screws in the back plate. The screws are not the same sizes, so make sure you know where to put the screws back later on. The two screws right here at the bottom are shorter. The rest of the four screws on the corners, they are a lot longer and larger, especially the one on the top left and right. All right, once you have that all the screws removed, the next step I like to do is to go ahead and pry open the back plate. So I'll be using a very tiny prying tool here to stick it enough underneath, and we're gonna pop open that little clipper. So there is a clipper right here because there is a missing screw, so they put a clipper to clip onto the back plate to separate them, and you can hear the little pop. Okay, you're gonna come back here, work your way around it on the other side, and then just gonna pop that clipper. Okay, so once you have the two clipper pop open, the next thing I'd like you to do is to slide the back cover down. So by holding the back plate, I'm pushing the laptop at the same time I'm sliding down the back cover. It is quite difficult at the beginning if you're first time doing it. Well, once you get a hang of it, then you can just slide the back cover down, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll explain to you why you need to do that. So this little thing, right, the metal bracket is actually slide onto your laptop, so you need to pop open at about slightly a tilt a little bit and then slide it down towards your body. Okay, so the back plate has to slide it down. All right, once you have done that process, now you can get to see the entire computer. This is the M1 CPU processor, and this is your CPU fan, the battery, and the entire motherboard. So the memory and the RAM is soldered onto the motherboard, so therefore this laptop is not upgradable. The next step I like to do is to disconnect the battery. So let's go ahead and open up this little plastic. This plastic is covering up the connector. Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and flip open this plastic here. Okay, and then there's a little clipper. Make sure you slide the clipper upwards. So there is a tiny clipper right there. Use the plastic prying tool and slide it up. And then now you can slide the flex cable to your left. And that's how you remove it. Okay, so this plastic here is holding down the flex cable, and then the clipper here is clip onto that connector. The next step is to disconnect this battery. Let's get yourself a T4. This is a T4 screwdriver. Remove that screw, and that's pretty much it. Now we have the battery disconnected. The reason why we remove the screw is this little metal, this bracket right here, is touching onto the battery. That's how the batteries get the power from. Once you remove the screw, that little thing separates them and disconnect the battery. All right, let's move on to the next process. Is we need to remove the 4 screws at the bottom, including the 2 screws here holding the bracket, and this will be running on a T4 screwdriver. Once you remove the 2 screws, now we can remove the bracket. Make sure you save the bracket on the side. Continue removing the other 2 screws. Okay, once you have done that process, the next step I like to do is continue removing this bracket right here. Again, it's a T4 screwdriver. Okay, once you have removed that, remove the bracket. Now you can see the exposure of the LCD connector. So this LCD screen connector comes from the motherboard underneath. The connector goes ahead and connect to the LCD board. And this connector right here, all you have to do is to flip it, like just kind of dig it out. They're kind of like a Lego that snap onto it. So once you remove it, just kind of separate just like that, right? So this board is what we call the LCD board, and this is the LCD connector that connects to the board, and this ribbon cable right here, the LCD connector, connects to underneath of the motherboard. All right, once you have done that process, now let's go ahead and disconnect the Wi-Fi cable. So the Wi-Fi cable is hidden underneath here. We definitely need to remove the plastic, and this plastic is held down by some kind of sticky rubber here. Okay, now to disconnect the Wi-Fi, you just have to simply lift it up and then get your T4 and remove that 1 screw. I try to leave the plastic intact just in case if Apple need to identify the computer. Probably it's more like I would say it's like a seal, like the warranty void seal, some kind of plastic. They do it that way. So I just leave it here. But for your case, if you have expired on under warranty, you can just go ahead and remove the plastic. All right, continue again with the T4 still. We'll be removing 4 screws. And this 4 screw right here is the one that is holding onto the LCD board. All right, so once you remove that 4 screw, you can see that the LCD board is free and ready to come off, but you're just going to leave it as this, because before we can remove the LCD, we need to remove the Wi-Fi antenna. Now the Wi-Fi antenna require a different screwdriver. It need to use 0.8 Torx screwdriver. Okay, 0.8, that's the size of the little star, because the tiny little Wi-Fi here runs on 0.8. Make sure you have the right screwdriver for this process. And if you're not sure where to buy the screws from, where to buy the screwdriver from, or the replacement screen, go ahead and check out my Amazon link in the description below. You can go to eBay or Amazon. I'll have them linked directly to the website, so you'll be getting the right tools for the process. Okay, once you have removed all the screws, now the next part is get yourself a T3. Let's go ahead and remove the 2 screw here. These 2 screws are holding onto that LCD hinge. So this plastic bracket is hiding that hinge right there. So we need to remove the bracket first in order to get to the hinge. Okay, remove the 2 screws and just remove the plastic. Now the next step is to get yourself a T8 screwdriver. And we're going to remove the hinge. Okay, before we can continue with the process, what I like to do is to remove the Wi-Fi antenna. So the Wi-Fi antenna is right here. What you want to do is go ahead and wiggle the Wi-Fi antenna, and then take a closer look at the cable right here. So we need to slide that Wi-Fi antenna cable away from your body, meaning that it will slide towards that direction. Okay, going that direction, and just try to wiggle and slide it that direction right there. Okay, so now we have the entire Wi-Fi removed. Let's put them on the side. Now we can disconnect the LCD screen by just separating the laptop and the screen, just opening it up. Keep opening up the LCD, and then just kind of slide it off while you're holding at the laptop. Okay, so let's work on the second part right here. That's how you disconnect the entire LCD screen away from the laptop. Okay, so we're going to replace the entire LCD just like that. Not just the screen, but the full assembly with the LCD board on it. Okay, now I do not have the new screen with me yet because I haven't ordered the screen. Is still with Amazon. This coming in about 3 more days from now. But I just like to show it to you, just assuming that this is the new screen. I just arrived, and to install the screen, you just got to do the reverse process. What you want to do is make sure that the LCD cable, right, LCD board and LCD cable is on top of your laptop. Okay, so first you need to make sure that the hinge is open at more than 90-degree angle. So this is slightly more than 90-degree angle. I know it's hard for you to see it, but try to push it all the way back if you can, and then lift your laptop up, right? And what you want to do is you want to slide it in first. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure you want to slide it in into that bracket. At the same time, you want the cable to be on top of your laptop. So you want to do 2 things at the same time. Make sure the cable is on top, and at the same time you want to slide the hinge right into the laptop on both sides. Okay, double check the cable, make sure the cable is again above the laptop. All right, they're just sitting right above. Now what I like to do is to put 1 screw. Get yourself a T8 screwdriver and 1 screw. We need to screw the hinge back together so we can close the screen. Okay, now we can go ahead and close the screen. Okay, double check the cable. Make sure the cable is right above the right above the laptop. Okay, now you can go ahead and finish up the rest of the screw, the hinge, the 2 more screw here. Go ahead and finish that up, and then go ahead and finish up the plastic bracket installation as well. All right, again, like I said, I'm not going to do the process here because I do not have the new screen. I do not want to put all the screws in and remove it out when the new screen comes. So I'm trying to reduce some of my process, but I like to walk you through the full step-by-step on how to replace the MacBook Pro screen, right? So you can pause the video, go ahead and finish up the screw holding on to the hinge and the bracket for your hinge. Okay, go ahead and finish that up. All right, so once you finish that up, the next step I like to do is to put the Wi-Fi antenna back together. So remember that the Wi-Fi cable here is slide underneath the connector right there. So you go ahead and slide it in. Okay. Make sure the two cables slide in. You can adjust the cable a little bit. Okay, once you slide it in, push it all the way. Okay. And then make sure that the LCD board again is above the Wi-Fi antenna, and with the two cable as well, including this one, is all above the Wi-Fi antenna. So the Wi-Fi antenna will be sitting at the very bottom here. Okay, now make sure you have the two Wi-Fi cable sticking out. Now you can put the screw back in to hold on to the Wi-Fi. Remember, there's one screw right here that holds on to the Wi-Fi. Make sure you put the one screw in to hold it down. Now the Wi-Fi connector, this one goes on the top, the other one goes at the bottom. So if you take a closer look, I want you to look at the Wi-Fi connector first. It is actually circle, right? Round shape. And the Wi-Fi connector is slightly bigger that goes on top of that circle. All right, so what I want you to do is make sure you align them in the right position and then you push it in. It does not require a heavy push. It does not require force to close the Wi-Fi connector. I do not want you to damage this Wi-Fi connector right there on the motherboard. If you bend that connector or damage this connector, then you're having a very hard time to fix that thing. Okay, this is not replaceable. Now if you break the Wi-Fi antenna, this thing is replaceable. Okay, this Wi-Fi antenna is replaceable, but not the one in the bottom. All right. Okay, so once you have that connected and the screw in, so that means you can close the tape. Okay, and then remember that 0.8 screwdriver that screws in all the tiny screw here, 2, 4, 6 of them. There are 12 total, right? So you can pause the video and now work your way and screw all the screw back onto the Wi-Fi first. Okay, now once you have done putting all the screw for the Wi-Fi, now you can close this LCD board connector, and remember there are 4 screws, the black one, right? The black 4 screws, and the black 4 screw goes onto the LCD connector, the LCD board, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you have the 4 screw screwed in onto the Wi-Fi antenna, now the board is securely fastened. Okay. Now to continue the next process, remember you're going to put the LCD connector right here, right? So it's like Lego. Make sure you align them in the right position. It's very easy. You find them in the right connector, just gently press it down, and now it's securely fastened. There are 2 brackets that holds down to the connector. One is this bracket here. Remember this bracket. Okay, it goes on top the LCD connector, and then there's another one bracket right here. The longer tiny one goes onto this section right there. Okay, so put that screw down, fasten the 2 screws here as well as the bottom here. Now you can pause the video and do that now. Once you're done with that, remember this black little thing. You need to flip it in and then slide it into that base right there. So I know it's kind of hard to do it, but once you get it, it's easy to flip. You just have to flip it in and then slide it in, and that's how you need to do it. Okay. gently slide it in and then flip it in, and then put that 4 screws in, 1, 2, 3, and 4 to hold on that black bracket. Okay, now once you're done, we're pretty much done with all the screws on the top already. Okay, the only thing left is the battery to reconnect it. So put the 1 screw here to reconnect that major battery here. Once you have done that, again, check the clipper, make sure the clipper is open. And now you want to slide that flex cable. Make sure the flex cable is exposed, right? Make sure the flex cable here is exposed. And then slide it in to your right. So you're just going to push it in, slide it into your right. And all the way in, and then you push that clipper to lock it, right? Once it's all the way in, push that clipper to lock that flex cable. Again, you have to screw in, and then now you slide the cable to your right, and then close using that clipper. Now, once you have done all that, you just simply have your back cover ready to install. So what you want to do is you want to align them in the right position. Make sure you have about this much of a gap. Okay. And then you want to slide it in. Remember this metal here? This metal has to be slid in first. And once you have it, slide it in, push it down with the clipper on the side, and that's it. That's how you clip it back in the back cover. Very simple. And once you have all installed, you want to make sure you have your charger, the cable plug into the computer, the USB-C, plug it in, and you can open up the screen and you have a brand new screen. All right. So I hope that the video is helpful, and I hope that you can follow along my video and get your screen replaced. You're not sure where to find the screen? Check the description down below. I have the link that goes to Amazon, or maybe for international, you can buy it from, if you're from America, you can buy it from Amazon, but if you're from somewhere else, like maybe Mexico, Canada, other country in Asia, you can try to go to eBay, and eBay is individual seller that they might ship internationally to you. All right. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Please subscribe if you want, and comment below if you have any question. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye now.